Hello, everyone. We'll go ahead and get started. It's just so that hopefully we have time for some Q&A at the end. I've done this before, and sometimes I run a little long, so we'll see how it goes. So this is running a 7-figure author business, in case you are in the wrong room. I hope you're not. Hopefully, someone earlier was like, do you think I'll get something out of it? I'm like, that's a weird thing to ask a person. If you don't, then I probably need to level up a little bit, right? So that's actually my husband, so when he walks in, we'll make it real awkward. Keep you guys late, man. This is ridiculous. So I'm Jeanette Strode. My husband's James Hunter. We run Shadow Alley Press. My presenter mode is not working, and I just realized it's not working, y'all. Is Lyle in here? No? I don't have my notes. Hold on one second, y'all. Don't know why that's not working. It's probably because I'm duplicating screens and not... One second, guys. Sorry. I was all ready to go, and then it didn't work. Anyone want to help us?
I'll see if I can try it.
Should just be duplicate, right? Duplicate. It should do what I need it to do. Extend. Oh, nope, I got it. We're good. Okay. Sorry, I was like, I don't have my notes. I'm good, but I'm not that good. Okay, so we run Shadow Alley Press. We're a digital first, thank you, indie publishing company. We're between 15 and 20 authors now. My husband's the author of about 35 or so novels. We started he started publishing in 2015 and kind of started just as a self-published author. And as things kind of progressed from there and he got better at writing and had more fans, we realized we kind of knew what we were doing and we started publishing other people. And it's grown to this 7-figure a year plus company. So we're really focused in lit RPG, game lit, sci-fi, fantasy. Basically, if it's genre fiction, we've got some sort of offering there for people. People always ask me what our income breakdown is. Our genres are really hot in audio, so we typically see 50 to 60% of our gross from audio, which when I tell people that, they're like, what? But that's kind of where we're at. And then the remainder is split between ebook and KU. Our genres do very well in Kindle Unlimited, so most of our titles are going to be offered there. What else? Paperbacks. Paperbacks we don't sell. I mean, we sell paperbacks, but they're a very small portion of our overall, maybe 2-4% or something. We hit our first 7-figure year in 2020, and then have been consistently maintaining that. I would say once you get to the higher levels, leveling up becomes, you're looking for like minuscule changes that will maybe level you up 1 or 2 or 3 or 4% of your gross, rather than, in the beginning it's kind of double, just growth happens very quickly. All right, so you want to make the money? Everyone here wants to make money? Oh, welcome, James Hunter. Yeah, so find a seat. There's like some up here, there's some over there. I was like, oh man, we're gonna play a joke on my husband if he's late. So there he is, wonderful man. He can talk all about the writing side, I won't. Okay, so back to this. So you wanna make all the money, right? Everyone wants to make money. Yes. But do you wanna do all the work? Because there's a lot of work involved with making high levels of income, right? We all wish this was a get-rich-quick scheme. Sorry to burst your bubble if you don't know this, but it's not. On that note, I usually poll in the beginning, and I got very flustered because I couldn't get my presenter thing. I normally ask people kind of what level they're at in the audience. So if you're making less than 6 figures and you're willing to share that, just throw your hand up so I can see kind of the breakdown. Okay, perfect. Is there anyone that is $500,000 or above that is sitting in this room? Okay, perfect. So that just gives me kind of an idea. Anyone in between there, I just skipped all of you, I'm sorry. Okay, perfect. That gives me a breakdown of kind of like what to focus on, what to talk about, what are the kinds of things that you're looking for. All right, so our key focus points today. We're going to have a little bit of talk on structure, roles, and team, which when I posted in the group, that was one of the main things that people wanted to talk about. We're going to talk about documentation, finding the right tools to help you level up, KPIs, which are key performance indicators, if you've not heard that term. I typically hate corporate speak. It's like a thing in our company that I'm like, if it is used somewhere else, I hate that because I want to be so not corporate. But KPI is just like, it just means what it means and it's helpful. So then IP expansion and making deals, networking and finding a mentor, and personal life. Because yes, personal life does exist. Although some of us struggle a little bit with that. Right? All right. Oh my God, nope, there's a preface before this next slide that I forgot there was. Do not pull out your phones for this slide. That is not the point, okay? This next thing that I'm going to cover is really just about showcasing what you should be doing. I was going to make a joke that I had people like posted to like take people's phones if they tried to take a picture of this. Because people always do. And I'm going to see you, there's going to be someone that can't resist. They're going to be back there. Trying to sneak the picture. The slides are up online, okay? Was that you? Really? All right, so first thing first. If you don't have an org chart, so we're starting with structures and roles. If you don't have an org chart, even if it's just you as a writer right now, you need to make one. You need to be thinking about who are you? What roles do you fulfill in your author business? You need to be looking at, if it's just you, right? Like you're the art director, you're the editing director, you're everything, right? You're doing all of the work. And so it's helpful for you to break out each of those individual things so that you know as you're growing which positions exist and how to fill those. So I'm going to talk in a minute about a book, and I actually have a little screen of it for you guys so you can see what the cover looks like. That helps you go through this process of making your org chart, writing down the job descriptions, figuring out all of the pieces of your business and all of the things that you do on a day-to-day basis. This, when we first did this was like really, really eye-opening for us. Probably did this like three years ago, I would say. And just seeing how many roles we were filling. Both felt a little bit overwhelming, but it also was like, oh, okay, now we know that we can go hire someone to do this assistant position that we've created this job description for. Or we can hire someone to do our formatting, formatters in the room, hey Darla, to do our formatting for us. But until you really look at it like that and you really break it down into these separate positions, it can feel very, very overwhelming in terms of like, okay, I know I need help, period, full stop. That's all you know, right? You know you need help, but you don't really know what direction to go. So this process will help you to see that. Our current roles at our company that we have our CEO and our COO, that's me and James. We have, we're actually in the middle of hiring for admin assistant. We have an operations manager, marketing director. We're also hiring for a reader experience manager. That's someone that is like the point of contact between readers and us. We have an art director who's also in the room. Hey, Jess.
They were not letting her in earlier.
They're like, but we have the shirts. Did you guys see our shirts, by the way? Do you even keyword, bro? We have a creative director, that's James. He handles pretty much everything that has to do with the writing side of making sure that our books are awesome. We have editors, we have proofreaders, we have a formatter, we have genre readers, which are kind of like dev editors, but not really. We have an audio director, that's me, and we have a team of readers as well that we call Team Alpha. That's kind of like our first line of people that read our books. So all of this came from us making this org chart, which is very overwhelming. But that allowed us to hire for those positions. So that's the number one thing that I tell people, especially even when you're starting out, right? This is huge, but even when you're starting out, it's super useful to be able to do that. With that, it's important to learn people, as you're growing. It's important to learn managing, communication, leadership, how to cultivate that team. So if you're looking to grow your team, you also need to level up as a leader and be reading and learning how to do that. I know that in the beginning, it can feel very, very overwhelming in terms of like how to hire people and how to work with them and how to train them. I'm actually gonna go back real quick because I wanna make sure that I'm not missing something. Okay. I feel like I'm missing a screen, but it's fine. Everything's great. So we run everything as contractors in our business. We have work orders, we have consultant agreements that go with those. And so that's just kind of like the back end process of like hiring and whatnot. I do want to talk about SOPs, and I feel like that's on the next screen. I don't know why it's not showing me that, but this is the book that I want you guys that will help you go through this process of making an org chart and figuring out the structure of your company and figuring out how to train and hire other people in a way that's not overwhelming, so that you can focus on growing your business. Perfect, now it's showing me the next dang slide. Y'all, I promise this is not my first rodeo, but I'm having a little bit of a struggle with PowerPoint today. Perfect, did everyone get that book? E-Myth, okay. Has anyone in here read that? Oh. That's the first time I've asked that and had that many hands up. It's awesome, right? Yeah, everyone that reads it is like, oh my gosh, this is just like mind-blowing. So that's definitely where I would start. All right, documentation and finding the right tools. So once you have that org chart and you know what you need and you have your job descriptions, you say, okay, I now know all of the roles that are in my company, even if it's just you, right? This is a helpful process. I'm gonna keep saying that because it can feel like this is next level stuff, but really start at the beginning and then you don't have to fix it backwards like we had to. Have SOPs for every defined task. An SOP is a standard operating procedure. I promise no cultural speak, but there you go. Or cultural, corporate, whatever, same thing. SOPs. They seem really dry, they seem really boring, they seem really like, oh, do I really have to do this? But I can't remember the name of the person that asked on the 20Books group. They were saying, okay, how do I hire someone and actually have it be effective and not just a time sink? This is the answer. If you can document the process, then someone else can follow it. And that is how you train others to be successful at what they need to do in a way that you can trust that they can execute on it. If you have an SOP, I mean, we have SOPs for like 90% of the tasks that we do in our company. Someone can come in and like our reader experience manager that we're hiring for, right? Like, I'm not worried about, oh my gosh, how am I gonna train this person? No, it's about finding the right person that can then go execute on the SOPs that are already made. So once you've documented what you're doing, what's going on, it just takes all of the guesswork out. And then it's more about the person, right? Can the person execute on what you're asking them to do? And if they can't, it just takes out that like question of like, was it me, was it them? No, if they can't follow the SOP, they can't follow the SOP and they probably aren't the right person for the position. So it just kind of like streamlines that. So how many of us in here are control freaks and have problems doing that with other people? Right, this seriously is transformational in that, because you can put everything in that SOP, every nitty gritty little stupid retentive detail that is important to you, you can put that in there and find the right person to do it exactly like you would have done it. So that's the key, right? And then you don't have to be watching over their shoulder every 2 seconds. Life-changing stuff, okay? I'm working on it. That's what's next. Thanks, babe. Thanks. So it does not need to be complex, okay? You can use video, visual, text, whatever works to jot down the process. Many of my SOPs are literally me recording a video on my computer of myself doing the task. Because I don't necessarily have time to go in there and make this beautiful PowerPoint presentation with all these arrows. Now, we have that too, that like really showcase, okay, go to this screen and do this, and here's this arrow, and here's this. We have that. But a lot of the times, if I'm like, no, someone just needs to be able to follow me doing this task, I go in, I do a voice recording and a screen grab, and you can use Zoom, you can use, like I have like Xbox Live or whatever on my computer that'll do it. Just go in there, make it, right? You can always refine it later. All right. Hopefully we'll have some questions on that. Thank you for the joke, I appreciate that. I do try to be funny, but sometimes people don't realize I'm trying to be funny, so it's fine. All right, so tools, finding the right tools that will help you execute on what you need to do. Tools are a huge part of succeeding in what we do. So for us, and I just named some of them, we use Slack as our main communication tool. All of our authors, all of our ops team, many of our contractors are on there. It makes it really easy for us to communicate. There are a lot of other options out there, Discord, Katie uses something else. Like there's lots of options out there, but I recommend something that's like, you're not just emailing 1,700 times a day. Find something that works for you. We use ClickUp for our project management. There's a million other tools out there to help you organize your pipelines and make sure that all of the tasks that you're doing are getting done. We've tried pretty much everything out there. So find what works for you. You know, Trello, Airtable, Asana, Monday, whatever it is. I recommend looking at something like that. Now, if it's just you, one person, you know, you're looking to hire a team, that will come as you grow and you need more people to be able to access all of those things. We use Dropbox for all of our file sharing. Makes it super easy to communicate with our authors and make sure everything is in the right place. Adobe Sign for contract management. That is a life changer. If you're someone that handles contracts, please stop printing them, signing them, and then scanning them back in. There's an easier, I think Adobe Sign is even free or very inexpensive way to handle that. We use QuickBooks Online for our accounting. How many people use QuickBooks? Probably quite a few of us, yeah. It's a great tool. For royalty software, so we actually had someone build a royalty software tool for us because of the complexity of our systems that I love that we did. It's good for the authors. It's a pain in the butt on the back end. But we also use Publish Drive was here. I don't know how many of you talked with them, but they have Abacus. And I would highly recommend looking at that if you're working with co-authors or if you're on anthologies that you're managing or just for paying royalties to authors. It's a great tool to use. So finding something that will manage that as you're leveling up, that's something I would recommend looking at earlier on rather than later because a lot of this stuff is very easy to fix forward and very hard to retroactively repair. So just be thinking of this as you're growing. How many of you in here publish other people or want to publish other people? Oh, good. Okay, so there's only a few of you that I need to talk out of that. Just kidding. It's a lot of work, but it's good. And then Author Helper Suite, formerly Reader Links. I love this tool in terms of looking at your revenue, seeing what's coming in. They're working very hard to get all of the ad platforms integrated to where you can actually see ROI. And it'll show you your breakdown across audio, ebook, KU, all of that stuff. So definitely worth looking at. They also have universal links and all sorts of other things on there. We use just the royalty side, but it's a great platform to look at, and the team there is amazing. I don't say that about everyone, but one thing that's not on here is BookFunnel, and we use BookFunnel all the time, and I feel ashamed that I forgot to put it on here, but if you're not using BookFunnel, definitely look into it. It's how we deliver all of our arcs, pretty much if we're giving a book out that's not on Amazon, it's going to be through BookFunnel. We use it for audio, everything. So, all right, KPIs. Know what your KPIs are. Oh my God, y'all, I'm gonna make it. KPIs are and how to track them. This is gonna be different for every person, right? You're gonna have different things that you're driving towards, different things that you're looking to make, different things you're looking to do. For us, these are some of the things that we track. So we track copies sold in the first 30 days. So we're going to be looking at both KU and ebooks as well as our audio. We look at our rank on launch. Rank it's a temperamental thing. You have to be careful not to fall in love with it, but it is a great tool for knowing how your book is performing on the platform at that moment against other titles. So we look at that. We look at ratings and reviews. We look at our first month revenue on a title. Read-through rate for series. This is a huge part of being able to calculate whether your advertising is working. It's a huge part of knowing whether your book is working for your readers. If you're noticing huge drops between books, there's probably something that's going on with the series that your readers aren't loving. So that's something to keep an eye on. ROI on ads, our mailing list growth and retention, our audio revenue percentage, like our overall audio revenue, but also we track like our per unit. I know there's like a terminology for this, but how much we make per book on average on audio. It helps us track the trends on Audible. We track number of releases per month. For us, as a publisher, that kind of helps us look at our pipeline to know what's coming, how we're doing, if we're going to hit our year-end goals. And then our ROI for each book with all of our costs included, so cover, editing, marketing, etc. My husband always likes me to share that with our releases, we're looking on launch week for at least a top 5,000 release. Really want to be in the top 1,000 on Amazon. That's what we've found is going to produce the right results for us. Higher than that, of course, we'll take. I don't know anyone that would not. And then we're looking for at least 100 ratings in the first 2 weeks, not reviews, ratings. And that kind of helps us to know that the launch went well, that our fan base is enjoying the kind of content that we're putting out. Okay, IP expansion and making deals. So in here, you can't expand on what you don't have, right? So if you only have one book out, there are people that are black swans that have something crazy come from that. But you really need to focus on getting more content out, and that's really where the deals and the ability to expand on your intellectual property is going to come from. All of our current bonus deals outside of our normal publishing pipeline came from people approaching us, and that's because we had content available. It's because we had good not just content but good curated content, right? Like really good genre fiction. We have good covers. We have good editing. We've kind of done all of the things right that we should be doing. And so that's really kind of an important piece to this. So I put it on here like build it and they will come, right? But that's really like the most important part is you have to start building your brand, you have to start building what you're doing. Just to speak on market research and genre real quick, if you're just starting your journey, this is really important. To research whatever market it is that you're going into, to know your genre really, really well, to make sure that you're hitting the right tropes, you're doing the right cover art. I'm not going to talk on that a ton because I think that the whole conference is kind of covering the importance of that. But as you're building it, as you're doing that, just make sure that you're focused on the right things, and that's kind of what will help allow you to hit that marketplace right, and then make the connections that you are making. Sorry, I'm trying to read and talk at the same time, so all right, so as you're looking for things to expand on, you also want to be looking for the right thing to expand on. So for example, James has 35 or more, I kind of lose count, titles at this point. We have over 200 titles in our publishing house. We can't go out and execute on all of those. Right? It's not physically possible, and I don't think that it would be wise either to try and go get deals or whatever on all 10 of his series or all 40 of our series. You have to really hone in on the right thing to expand. So one of his best-selling series we have an expanded universe on because it's best-selling. He's got 8 books in the main series. It was the right thing to expand on at that time. So just paying attention to the market, paying attention. This seems basic, but expand on the thing that's selling well, right? It just sounds whatever, but I'm gonna say it anyway. All right, so I I can't go into like details on this, but just as an example of where we're going and the things that we've been able to do just by staying focused in our genres. The current deals, because this is recorded, I can't share like specific things. But we have 14 titles that are included or soon to be included in Audible Plus. That came from meeting people at conventions. We have a potential distribution agreement with a major audio distributor that emailed us. We have a potential distribution, actually this is more than potential distribution agreement coming soon with a major web-based story app. They emailed us. We have a distribution agreement for print distribution into major retailers, which is like the thing that indies can't get. We're working on that, right? And that's because of our connections and people that we met at a conference. We have a very lucrative partnership with other not-to-be-named audiobook companies that they've partnered with us, and we're looking to really hone in on that marketing. We met them at conferences. There are other things that happen at conferences. Normally I go in more, but I'm like, oh, this is recorded, I can't really put this on here. We also have really great working relationship with major narrators in our genres. So the point is not to like, oh, look at us, we're so awesome, we have all these amazing things. It's that you gotta put in the work, you gotta show up at the right places, you have to hone your skills, and if you do all the right things, and you're not afraid to go out there and focus on this stuff and go talk with people, then good things can happen. I want to share how we connected with Michael Anderle for the first time because it's a really funny story and it showcases exactly what I'm talking about here. So we came to the very first 20Books Vegas, was that 2017? And we came here in hopes of connecting with Michael Anderle. Turns out that it was crazy and there were 1 million people and I chickened out. And so didn't end up getting lunch or coffee or whatever. So we found out he was gonna be at Boston Fantasy Fest, which was like gonna be itty bitty, like teeny tiny little convention, and I thought, we're gonna go there. So we randomly decided to fly across the country to go to Boston to meet Michael Anderle. So we're in this suite party on the 13th floor and the fire alarm goes off. Anyone ever run down 13 flights of stairs in a hotel while terrified that the building is burning? I highly recommend that. I did that with Michael Anderle. We ran all the way downstairs and we ended up sitting in a hallway, like a little hallway once they let us back in the building. It was just the water heater, it was fine, but for like 3.5 hours. It was like him and us and like 2 or 3 other people, right? But that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been chasing and like looking to make those connections. And that transformed not only our relationship with him, but our career in getting to just get those moments with him in terms of like, where do we go next, right? Because at that point, we were probably equal to a lot of you in this room of like, okay, what this is what I'm doing, like where do I go from here? And people like Michael are great at being like, oh, what about that? Why don't you try that? Actually, our expansion into Viridian Gate Online happened from that meeting and having those talks with him. So yeah, so just keep trucking and be a shark. Don't be afraid to go out there and meet people and interact with people. We're just humans. All right, networking and conventions and finding a mentor. The last few years with COVID has been very, very challenging, I think, for all of us. But for us, it's been difficult because there haven't been as many conferences, there haven't been as many places to go. And so it's just been, those connections aren't happening, that like group creativity and motivation, that comes from these things wasn't happening. And just from this last year of like actually being out and interacting with people again, it's made a huge difference in our business. So if you can't get out and connect, it really stifles your growth. And that's what we experienced in 2020. Really 2021 is when that all like hit and we were like, oh my God, this is still going on. So that's just to reiterate like the importance of getting out there and making those connections with people. Because every single one of our like most important friendships networking opportunities, business opportunities, everything came from going to events like this. We first got connected with Amazon and ACX and all these amazing people at 20Books in like 2018, 2019, somewhere in there. So it's really important to continue to do this, and don't underestimate the importance of getting out and doing that and being in places like this. All right, mentors. Not knowing something should never be an excuse. I know we all use it. I don't know how to do that. I can't do that. I don't know how. There is someone out there that will teach you what you need to learn. There's YouTube, there's Udemy, there's a million different places. So as indie authors, as our own, we are our own thing. Like, there's no one that is gonna go do the work for us, unfortunately. Maybe not unfortunately, but there's no one that's gonna do it. So you have to be willing to learn and figure out everything that you need to know. And that can be a little bit overwhelming and scary, but there's always people out there that can help you. So, yep, just lost my train of thought. Hey, if I can be up here speaking, you guys can be up here speaking, okay? Just wanna make sure that I'm not missing anything in my notes here. Yeah, so not knowing something should never be an excuse. So find someone to take you to that next level, hire someone, take a course, whatever the case may be. We can go out there and learn how to do it. My husband is learning how to narrate audiobooks because he wants to do that. So he stole my closet and made it into an audio booth. So even at this level, right, we're continuing to level up, we're continuing to learn. You have to stay humble and realize that there's always something to learn, there's always something you can do to grow. How many of us in here have been in like a mastermind or a group like that? Okay, not enough of us. So that's something else that I would recommend. It may not even be, most of the masterminds I've been in have not even been industry related. They've been business related, or I've been in a fitness mastermind, I've been in all of these different things. So whatever area you're looking to level up in, there's a group out there that can help you with that. Little caveat is always check your mentors, make sure they're doing what they're teaching. If they are not succeeding in what they are teaching, do not let them be your mentor. If they don't have proof that they have gone out and sold books, do not let them tell you how to sell books. It seems pretty basic, but do your research on who you're gonna let coach you and make sure that they're good, not just a good fit personality-wise, but that they actually have the right to be teaching you what they are teaching you. Yeah. And then the other thing on here, books. You always need to be expanding your knowledge. So if it's not in a course or with a mastermind or with a mentor, there are a billion, there's books out there, guys. Did you know that? Right, who knew? I love nonfiction books. I am constantly reading nonfiction. I love leveling up. So as indie authors, I recommend that you do the same. If you haven't read David Gaughran's stuff, the Let's Get Digital, if you haven't read Write, Publish, Repeat, I don't have pictures of them, but they're, even in our industry, there are books that, all of Craig's stuff, there are books that can help you level up to whatever it is that you're looking to do. There's Facebook ads, there's whatever. You can find books on it. Once again, check the author and mentor or whatever. Make sure that they, are doing what they are espousing that they do. How much time do I have? So okay, perfect. All right, personal life. Yes, it exists. How many of us in here struggle with this and feel like we work way too much? Yeah. Well, there are workaholics, and we are one of them because I love it too. But my note on this is that you really have to prioritize you. If you're not healthy, then nothing else works. And it can kind of seem counterintuitive, right? To think, no, I'm just gonna put in more hours, and more hours equals more work, and more work equals more money. Well, yes, to a point. Because if you lose your health and you lose your all of it goes together, right? If you're not working out, you're not eating well, then your brain doesn't function as well. There were times that my husband was working all the time, overnights, not sleeping, and we thought, this is the pathway. Now, I'm not gonna lie and say that didn't get us to a certain level, but at some point, we recognized and just revamped our whole life and prioritized ourselves, and we actually became more productive, more efficient, We were able to get more done in the less hours that we were working because we were healthier. It sounds counterintuitive, but I promise it's not. So find time to exercise, eat well, enjoy whatever it is that you enjoy doing, whatever makes you happy. You know, my husband loves to play D&D now and has all of his groups and things that he does. He goes to writer meetings. We work out, we take care of ourselves, spend time with our kids, and do all of those things. Another note that I always like to kind of share on this point is learn what works best for you and what your body needs. So the example that I like to give is, you know, how many of us were working our bodies like, okay, you need to take a walk, or I need some movement, right? And sometimes we're like, okay, yeah, I'll book a walk for tomorrow. You know, I'll book a nice long 30-minute walk tomorrow morning. But our bodies are telling us that it needs it right now, right? So it's important when we know what we need to execute on that. Just like in business, right? If something comes up, we're going to execute on it. So learn to listen to your body and what it needs. If it needs movement, take it for a walk. If you're starting to feel like sometimes I do, where it's like, oh my gosh, like I just need a break, I gotta get away, I gotta do something. Don't book a vacation 4 months from now. That is not helping you right now. It will maybe in 4 months from now, you're gonna be like, damn it, why did I book this vacation? I don't wanna be on vacation right now, I'm feeling good, I wanna work, right? So it's important that we execute on those things as quickly as possible. I recognize you can't just be like, okay, I'm going on vacation right now, bye. That doesn't work, right? Does it? Does that work? Does that? Just kidding. But you know, paying attention to what you need, because you never know like how you're gonna feel a week from now, or whatever. Like making sure we're taking care of ourselves. Learn your schedule. Be, what's the word I'm looking for? Self-reflective in knowing what it is that you need. I don't take meetings in the morning. I only take meetings Monday through Thursday in the afternoons, because I know that the morning time is the best time for my brain to work and the best time for me to be able to execute on tasks, which I don't need my brain to be at 100% in order to maybe meet with, you know, whoever it is that I'm meeting with. So that's important for me. And then Friday, I actually book Friday off as a personal day. Like all of my calendars, everything, like you can't get meetings with me on a Friday. And that's just me like protecting my own mental health and my own well-being. Sometimes I feel great and I'm like, I'm gonna put in 12 hours and I know no one's gonna bother me and it's amazing. But it's there for me if I wake up on Friday and I'm just like, oh man, like this week has kicked my butt. Guess what? I'm probably going to Starbucks and going to Target and like no one's gonna call me and no one's gonna bother me because my calendar is blocked off. So I think, you know, that's for me, but everyone out there you guys have your own best schedules and your own best things that you're doing or that you need to be doing. So honing in on that will help you kind of level up. And then Saturdays, you know, more often than not, we work Saturdays because our kids are off gallivanting with our in-laws or whatever. So really, being an indie author is awesome. If you're full-time, you really have control of your schedule, right? You can do whatever it is that you want. So let's make sure that we're actually capitalizing on that and not just running ourselves into the ground because we think we should be working 90 hours a week and whatever. Make your schedule work for you. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I missed on that, but I feel like I just really hit the nail on the head. Like, you should have a personal life. Prioritize what is important. I did miss that. I usually say something really controversial, that balance doesn't exist. Sorry. It's all about priorities, right? Because what you might need today might not be what you need tomorrow. So, all right. This is the first time I've actually finished where I had time for questions. How much time do we have?
We've got about 6 minutes.
6 minutes. Woo! All right. So if you guys have a question, go ahead and line up at the mic because otherwise it doesn't get onto the recording. So, yeah, what do you got?
Hi. So as a publisher...
Is this mic on?
Hello?
There we go.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
You're good.
So as a publisher publishing other people's work, do you concentrate on one genre or do you go wide?
That's a great question. So I think there are a lot of publishers out there that focus on multiple genres, and if you're not careful and you do too many, it makes your job really difficult, and I would argue it would be near impossible without a giant team to do that well. Because marketing, you have to know each individual genre, you have to know the tropes, you have to know the keywords, you have to know all of this stuff. And if you're trying to do 10 genres, you're making yourself a lot of work. So yes, we do like 4 or 5, and they're all within sci-fi fantasy. Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, all the people leaving. I still got good stuff in me. Just kidding.
When you talk about trying to make hires, we talk about building the kind of the what role you need to fill.
Mhm.
How do you guys determine financially when it's time to hand that off to somebody else versus keep doing it yourself?
Yeah.
And then along those lines, when you talk about contractors, is that primarily you just start with a few hours and then build from there? But I'd love to hear you talk about that.
Yeah, that's a great question. So when you're building this out, you make your organizational chart, and then you start to focus on what you like to do and what you don't like to do. And I would say look to hire out the things that you don't like to do first, or it might be something you like to do but it's taking a bunch of your time that you know is prohibiting you from writing books or whatever it is that you need to be doing. So, but without the chart, you don't know that information, right? So start there, then you can start thinking about that and start focusing on what you need to do. The other thing I would say on that is it is a lot less expensive to hire someone than you think it is. Everyone thinks, oh, if I hire, I don't know what example I would use, but a proofreader or whatever, that you think, oh, it's going to take 10 hours a week. It might only take 2, and then you have someone taking that task off your hand. I'm trying to remember the other question, the second part of that question that you asked.
It was about contractors, like starting small versus
Yes, yeah, and then you really can our work orders control how many hours a week they can work. So you can control that, and if you find out, oh, well, that's really not enough, then you can revisit. But that allows you to kind of budget and know, like, okay, well, I really only have $500 a month to spend on this, so you set that max cap at that and then can go from there. Yep. Again.
I'm not interested in publishing others, but I still want to hit the 7-figure goal.
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys find that there was a ceiling to one person writing and trying to farm out everything else, and is that why you moved into publishing others?
Oh, no, not at all. We're gluttons for punishment. We really like helping other people and seeing other authors succeed. So for us, that was what it was. That's what motivated us. We personally know a lot of individual authors that are 7-figure authors, and that is actually publishing other people made it where it was more difficult to focus on his solo brand. And we've actually seen the negative repercussions of that because we're splitting our time. So staying as a single author definitely affords you more opportunity to continue to grow in that way. I wouldn't say there's a cap, for sure.
When it comes to read-through, what do you consider good read-through? And
Great question.
what do you do if it's not producing read-through that you're looking for?
Yeah, so from book 1 to book 2, I just talked to someone about this the other day, but if you're below 50% read-through, you have a major problem. There is something really going on there that's causing issues. It could be the book, it could be your marketing, it could be a cover, it could be a number of things. But that would be a really big red flag to me. Under 60%, I would probably still do quite a bit of research of what's going on. Did I miss a trope? Did I, cover off? Did I this? Did I that? Looking at that. Now, read through, I would say, you really, until you have 3 books out, it can be skewed, it can be wonky because, making sure that people are reading through, you don't really have that data. Now, from 2 to 3 and 3 to 4 and on, you should be seeing much higher numbers. I mean, 85% and above, I would say. Maybe I'd go down to 80 between 2 and 3. But by then, people should like it and be invested in wanting to read. And if you're not seeing those numbers, it could be book, it could be something went wrong in the story that people didn't like. It could be marketing, right? If you have book 6 out in a series and you're not marketing it at all, and the readers can't find it, but I would still argue there's probably something going on with the book at that point. So yeah, tracking those numbers is really important to know. Am I hitting the tropes? Am I hitting the market? Am I doing the things that my readers want to see?
Last question.
When it goes to picking up new people to work for you, do you look for people who know the book industry? Are they also authors? The people you're working with to help their books?
Both. So we have people that are also authors. We have people that are not. that's where the standard operating procedures really come in, because if you have a good SOP that really walks someone through how to do the task that you're doing, most positions don't require a knowledge of the industry at all. Marketing, I would argue, is different. You definitely, in the marketing arena, you're gonna need to know someone that can at the very least, learn your products, because that's kind of crucial. You can't really SOP like how to write ad copy for a lit RPG if they don't know what that is. But most other things, tasks, can just be step by step, yeah. So, and then the other thing is like preference, right? Do you want to work with a bunch of other authors? Maybe you do. Maybe you don't. Yeah, perfect.
Sorry, that was the last question.
Yeah, we can catch afterwards. Yes, thank you guys so much.